Joining us now as guest is Jaime Leverton, CEO of Hut 8 Mining, and Asher Genoot, co-founder and president of US Bitcoin Corp. Jaime and Asher, a pleasure to have you on the show. And I guess, to start us off, how did these M&A discussions come up? Jaime, if you want to start, go for it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. I've been public for the last year that we really were focused on a growth strategy in this market that would be a mix of organic and inorganic. And so we've actively been paying close attention to what's been happening in the market and really looking for that perfect partner who we are very thrilled we found in Mike and Asher and the whole team at USBTC.
So, Asher, were you approached by Hut 8, and how did those conversations proceed?
Yeah, we've been in conversations and known Jaime and her team for a while now. I think on the US Bitcoin side, we've understood that in order to really be a leading factor in this industry, you have to have scale. You have to have access to capital, and you have to be in the public markets. And so for us, we've had ongoing discussions, both internally as a company on how we look to go public and also looking at potential mergers. We've been close friends with the Hut 8 team and Jaime, and I think the connection got rekindled in the last 6 months, and we've deeply dove into these conversations and now have been able to announce it to everybody else.
So, Asher, why is this a good move for USBTC?
Scale. If you look at what we've done in the last 3 months, we've scaled, and we've looked at diversifying our revenue streams, diversifying our business to be able to protect against downside. So in the segment that you just said, if Bitcoin does go down to 13,000, which we all hope it doesn't, we're still protected as a business. We have a strong, stable, fiat-based cash flow and revenue stream. But at the same time, we have unlimited upside by being able to have exposure to Bitcoin mining itself and being able to have all of that upside. And so by combining with Hut 8 allows us to continue to gain that scale and continue to gain that diversified revenue stream, both from a business perspective, but also from a geographical perspective with USBTC in the US and Hut 8's operations in Canada.
Mm-hmm. And Jaime, was it looking for opportunities like this because of crypto winter in terms of opportunities that, it's the time to merge, it's a time to scoop up some companies, and is that a way for Hut 8 to scale?
I think we've said this before, bear markets are for building, and I think we're in a very fortunate position where we came into this market already strong with a diversified business model, with a very strong balance sheet, and what we have found in USBTC is a like-minded partner, incredibly strong with their diversified strategy that's complementary to ours, their operations entirely US, ours entirely in Canada, USBTC being a private company doesn't have the same kind of front of house capabilities built out or governance that Hut 8 does as a public company dating back to 2018. So we really see this as almost a perfect marriage. There's very little overlap between the companies. Asher and his team have in-house software development capabilities, 2 purpose-built software platforms, an in-house energy and hedging team. These are all things that Hut 8 doesn't have today, but are very compelling for us to be able to take advantage of as we go forward as a new entity.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what it says about, this is a major consolidation in the Bitcoin mining industry. Is that bad for decentralization?
Well, I think what's fascinating about this merger is that it's not driven by self-mining exahash. Our combined self-mining exahash is 5.6, which really is competitive, but it's not a dominant amount of exahash controlled by this new entity. The beauty again of this merger are all of the diversified revenue streams, hosting from USBTC, the managed infrastructure operations, which we're super excited about. I think there's a ton of opportunity for further growth, which doesn't require CapEx, is very protected from Bitcoin mining economics. And then on the Hut 8 side, our high performance computing business, completely diversified, not connected to hash rate. So where you could see that argument being made if this was just 2 large self-mining companies coming together and controlling a large share of the hash rate. That's not what this merger is. This is a merger of equals that's really driven by diversified revenue streams and aligned philosophies and diversified geographies.
Mm-hmm. What are shareholders saying? Well, I mentioned at the top, we're seeing shares slide almost 30% since the announcement. What is the sentiment among shareholders?
Actually, shareholders have been very excited. They were looking for a growth story from Hut. This is a great growth story. It's very on brand, again, from a diversified strategy perspective. The slide in the shares, if you put the Bitcoin chart and overlaid it, Bitcoin has also fallen off over the same time period. So I don't think the stock performance is really a direct reflection of sentiment so much as the macro Bitcoin environment, and that chart looks very similar to our peers in the space. But I think as we continue to share more about this merger, I think people are going to get more and more excited as they understand just the true capability of this merged entity, and that diversified strategy that is really second to none in the space.
Mm-hmm. Asher, you want to jump in here? What is your outlook on Bitcoin going forward?
I don't really speculate on Bitcoin, hence our diversified revenue stream. I think what matters as a miner and as a company is to be able to protect against downside and really maximize upside for our shareholders. So a big perspective that we've always had is Bitcoin mining is an energy arbitrage. We are taking an electron, we're operating it extremely efficiently with our ASIC machines, and we're turning those into mine Bitcoin for our customers who are hosting at our facilities, or for the property management services that we provide to run facilities for other folks. And so for us, it's really how do we produce Bitcoin at the lowest possible cost, both from an energy perspective and from an efficiency perspective. And we do believe by gaining scale, we're able to lower our costs in doing so.
What would be the baseline cost of Bitcoin to remain profitable?
Yeah, so what we've always found extremely interesting about Bitcoin mining, it's a game of relativity. You are as competitive as you are compared to your peers. So when it comes to mining, there's three things that determine your revenue that drives into hash price, right? One is Bitcoin price. With your network block rewards, and three is difficulty, the amount of other people competing for that same block reward. And so for us, we've always thought about it in terms of what is our cost to mine Bitcoin relative to our peers in an all-in cost basis. And so for that, that's where we think being able to operate the most efficiently by bringing in-house our software. So as Jaime mentioned, we have two different focuses that we've spent on software. One is on energy management, us being able to trade around our electrons and us being able to lower that cost of electricity in an automated fashion. And the second is a full software stack, which we call the operator, which is the full software stack around operating our facilities and operating them extremely, extremely efficiently, being able to know when miners are down, using automated algorithms in order to bring those miners back up. And so for us, when it comes to your cost of mining a Bitcoin, when Bitcoin goes to $60,000, everybody's cost of mining Bitcoin goes up because your network difficulty increases because more competition comes in. When Bitcoin prices come down, folks that are not as efficient will turn offline, bringing network difficulty down. And so for us, what we strive to be is always in the top performance in terms of difficulty and being the highest operators where we can always be able to ride on the right side of those cycles.
So do you know now that you're a merged company, what that baseline number for Bitcoin would be to remain profitable?
Christine,
I know I asked Jaime this and Jaime.
The deal hasn't closed yet, so we are not a merged entity until we close.
Okay, a timeline for that?
We have targeted by the end of Q2, but of course, not everything's within our control. We're working as quickly as we can inside both Hut and USBTC.
All right, well, good luck, folks. Thank you so much, Jaime and Asher, for joining us.
Of course, thanks for having us.
CEO, Jaime Leverton, and US Bitcoin Corp President Asher Genoot.